Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel and this video, which should be a review of the new Le Mans Ultimate Update version 1.4, which just came out yesterday. So I'm recording this on the Wednesday 29th of July. So I'm going to talk about what this update should deliver, some of the promise around it, some of the big bets that I think Studio 397 is making with the current update, and then give you my opinion at the end. We're going to walk you through the content. I'm not going to test it, but I'm going to tell you what's new. Probably more important, the changes, jokers, maybe some physics stuff like that. How it actually feels in the first 24 to 48 hours after release, and then see whether the path that Le Mans Ultimate wants to take right now is the winning one or not. Don't forget to keep it civil in the comments. I'm sure this is going to be a welcome to a debate with a stranger on the internet type thing. So keep it nice, and let's start looking at it. First of all, this video is brought to you by Asetek Racing. If you want some top-level sim racing gear like I do, be sure to check Asetek Racing out. If you want to buy anything off their website, they currently have a summer promotion, and you can get 5% discount using my code ACDM at checkout. Go check them out. Best sim racing gear on the market right now. So, obviously, one of the main things about this update is the new content, the most important of which is the US Truck Pass. So we already got Daytona and Laguna Seca. There are further tracks coming. I think it's a 6-pack bundle. It's going to cost $45 for the entire pack, and they're going to basically drip feed it to the end of the year. I'm not going to test this content firsthand. You'll see some pictures from Le Mans Ultimate in here, because actually, this has been the best thing about Le Mans Ultimate. Actually, the content has been fantastic, both the cars and the tracks, especially the new DLC tracks. I think we got Barcelona last time. Obviously, there's some free edition as well, such as Le Mans, which has been redone with kind of new signage, new panels, new curbs, some details that make it feel more realistic. These two tracks are absolutely awesome. I'll come to my reason why I'm not going to test them and drive them in a bit. And we also get some new content for free, which is the updated cars for the Cadillac and the Alpine. Boring story. Basically, they use the Joker to change some of the downforce kind of packaging configuration of the cars. For example, the Caddy now has an adjustable rear wing as opposed to a front element, which was the case when it got launched. So there's a mix of free updates, which most people are not going to care about too much, I believe. I mean, the Caddy and the Alpine, sure, maybe in the hypercars. The tracks, absolutely awesome from what I've seen. I'm sure it's top quality content. They look very good. Daytona and Laguna Seca are going to be much popular, especially with the Daytona 24 hours being added to this as a possible event. The price, I think, is quite steep for Le Mans Ultimate standards. So $45 for 6 tracks, I believe. They run a discount right now. Actually, let's check that on Steam and see how much it costs in Great British Pounds. But it's historically more than tracks have costed in Le Mans Ultimate. So I think, Stephen Hood mentions it in the video. The reason for that are the high licensing costs that they have to pay. And he specifically mentioned this is not an IMSA license, so don't expect like Le Mans Ultimate to become, the IMSA official game. It's currently the official game of the World Endurance Championship, but they had to do these deals one-to-one with the tracks. And that's been quite expensive. That's the reasoning they give. The licensing is expensive, therefore, it's only fair that they're gonna charge us more for it. So looking at it now, the track pack 1, which is Daytona and Laguna, is 10% discounted for a week after launch, £13.49. $34.99 for the entire pass, currently reduced to $31.49. That's in pounds. Next up, very important for everybody protesting and live stewarding. So we are going to get a new replay system where you can report everybody directly from the replay. Absolutely awesome feature. It took a lot of time to kind of find the incidents afterwards in a race. Now they're marked directly in the replay. And also they removed the protest cooldowns, which I think is absolutely amazing, absolutely hated. I had a race, somebody rammed me intentionally. I wanted to report there and then go to bed, right? Not wait 2 hours, midnight, go to sleep, report the second day. They've removed that, which I think is a great move, but you only get 3 protests per month now. So how that's going to work is you get a maximum of 3 protests per month, but for every success, so 3 tokens in effect. but every time you report somebody and you're successful, you're gonna get your token back. So that's to stop people basically doing unnecessary reports. And Stephen had also mentioned, but basically they're just looking at intent recs, right? Racing incidents, that sort of stuff. They're gonna look at in championships on the pro tier, but in daily races, that sort of stuff, they're not gonna be relevant for you guys. So you're gonna basically waste your tokens if you report those. So you can see here the replay system. You know, there's kind of bars where incidents are. You can report directly from there. Absolutely welcome addition. The replay should have been fixed in terms of stuttering with the throttle and that sort of stuff. But yeah, welcome quality of life improvements. Online Foundation, so they mentioned a new netcode system which moves from TCP to UDP, whatever that means. That the whole thing here is ever since version 1.3 came out, and if you want to check that review, that's previously done on my channel, the online system, I believe, became more unstable. There were more disconnects, there were more lag issues. They still couldn't run at 24 hours of Le Mans with a full grid in stable conditions. So I believe this is to address some of that and lay the game on a more suitable foundation for the future, which is also welcome. But the question is this gonna work? Is this gonna work where they're gonna have another test race on Le Mans? I don't think anybody knows. New Pro and Pro Plus features. So this was very controversial at the time. They actually backtracked on some of this. So we are getting a Joker system. What the Joker system means is that after you do 10 races, you're going to get one Joker. You can use that Joker to eliminate a race or to stop a race from counting towards your DR and SR allocation. So if you have a disastrous race, if somebody takes you out, if you make a mistake, if you bid it in the wall, whatever, your computer disconnects, something like that, you can use the Joker and that will be wiped clean. Initially, when they announced this, it was just a Pro and Pro Plus feature, so a subscription feature. But there's been a lot of backlash from the community, and actually, I want to show you here one of the comments that I posted as well. Got some attention, right? Got 150 likes. A lot of people complained about it, and I still stand by it. It was a very bad idea to have that behind a paywall. Already Le Mans Ultimate, I think, has a problem with the two-tier driver rating and safety rating system. That's by no means perfect, because basically, if you have the Pro or the Pro Plus subscription and you have access to the championship races, those give you a higher multiplier for a driver ranking and safety ranking already. So somebody grinding dailies, maybe they win all the dailies, is probably going to have the same rank as somebody who's less able in the Pro championships as well. So you can't really compare the driver racing. Adding the Joker to that would have been a massive mistake, because it would have made Pro and Pro Plus even more OP. So I'm happy they walked that over. I think it was a stupid idea initially, but you know, one of the occasions where we say, yeah, listening to the community, GG guys, now everybody's gonna have the Joker available. Usually I consider this very stupid, and a lot of communities is still against the Joker system, but you know, having a real life racing background, I actually know real life championships where you get drop rounds, where you know, you get a n-1 rule. So let's say the championship has 10 rounds, only 9 count towards your full championship points allocations. That's actually quite common in rallying, some other GT or endurance championships where that has been applied. So it's not something that's unheard of, even in real life. But for me personally, I think having it here is beneficial, because LMU is such a bug fest and a really buggy game at this point. That is going to gain, you know, it's going to sort some of that pain out. Having it behind a paywall was very stupid. And then we get, yeah, more practice servers for Pro and Pro Plus, whatever. There is a new braking simulation, which actually I'm going to talk about for hypercars, and I think the prototypes as well, and we're going to talk about it, and the rest of quality of life improvements. Yeah, starting from the pits, you're no longer starting in the garage, you're starting in the pit lane directly, which is already very buggy. So yeah, I'm going to switch to some B-roll of me driving and then talk you over the big bet that I think Le Mans Ultimate is making right now, and if that's correct or incorrect in my opinion. Okay, so one of the first things you are going to notice is that you no longer start from the garage, as I mentioned. So you're going to go here, and as you can see, this feature is already quite bugged. So sometimes you get the preparing car message, sometimes you don't. and then suddenly you get some power and drive off. But let's have a look at the new Le Mans track, which is going to be more colorful, nicer, you know. Let's put some gloves on and walk you through some of the braking changes that they've made. So on the prototypes, I'm not sure if this has been done on the GT3s, there is a new thermal simulation for the brakes, which means we should get better braking consistencies from the LMP2, the LMP3 and the hypercar. I think for me that's really noticeable, and that's helped me you know, kind of be more confident under braking, especially in the LMP2, which I'm mostly racing. They have also added AMD FSR, so that's an upscaling technology to help us get more FPS. And you're seeing that right now is probably a worse quality than what you normally see on my streams, because I haven't used FSR so far, but it should make a good improvement on the FPS that we're getting. I haven't benchmarked it yet, I'm not sure. The problem with that is that they've implemented FSR 1.0, so that's quite an old technology. You can use it on your NVIDIA graphics card as well. I use an NVIDIA card, for example, but it's just the current version of this FSR is 4.1, and they've just implemented 1.0, so they're a bit behind the game there. And yeah, what I think is the main theme about this update is content at all costs. I think because they had to pay such a big price to get the license for the tracks, they are now under pressure to recover that money for Motorsport Games Studio 397, whatever the situation right now is. I kind of got lost there. And this launch for me has been about that above everything else. So those of you who might follow the channel for a long time, you know I've signed up and I've played them Ultimate from day one. I supported the game, I bought all DLCs, I have a Race Control Pro subscription, I regularly compete in the championships in Split 1, in LMP2 and Hypercar, but mostly prototypes. And the big mistake they've made, in my opinion, is take this game out of early access. So now they say this is version 1.4, but the launch has been disastrous from my point of view. Not in terms of content and the headlines. Those have been great. Absolutely great additions, Laguna and Daytona. But in terms of bugs, quality of life, attention to detail, this is an absolutely rubbish launch. We're now 24 hours after the launch, almost, and the game is kind of working, but yesterday when it launched, we had no practice servers for championships. You had no race history in your profile. Everything was buggy so that you couldn't play the game unless you were doing, you know, some of the weekly events around the new content. Everything else was set aside. They had, I don't know, whatever database problem that they fixed today. And for me, that shows. The quality of life in this game, and I understand they're trying to make it viable, especially for esports, you know, Le Mans Virtual has been pushed back. But the quality of life has been absolutely appalling. And already with version 1.3, they were pushing in this direction of, you know, get more content out there as quick as possible. The content is great, it's nice, but it is, let's be clear, at the expense of making a nice, stable, bug-free game. Now, don't get me wrong, it might be so that these new kind of background changes, the foundational online elements, as they call them, will prove successful in the future. I don't know that. It's too early to judge, right? And I sure hope that is the case. But right now, the launch for me of 1.4 has been rushed, bugged, unpolished, and up to the point that I said I'm not going to buy any US truck passes. Because it doesn't give me confidence that this game, in the near future, and by the near future I mean the next 4 months, by the end of this year, is going to turn into a proper online competition game where you can just hop on, block 2 or 3 hours of your life just to play it, and don't have to worry about server clashes, lag, FPS dropping at some point, you know, cars spawning randomly, or force feedback dropping when somebody joins the server, so on, so on. There's people now crashing when they are in the pits because the new system kind of turns them in to the car in front of them. So from that point of view, and that's what I use Le Mans Ultimate mostly for. It's online competition and esports. So your point of view might vary. I'm quite limited in that scope that I'm judging it for. At the current moment, it feels very disappointing. Even before the launch of 1.4, the night before we were doing a split one race in LMP2, and the servers crashed. The complete split one server crashed with 2 laps to go. Right, everybody got ejected. The results didn't count. Everybody lost 2 hours of their life for nothing. And those things happen way too often for me to say, okay, I'm sure that this is going to become my main simulation of choice to spend my money and my time at. I hope it does, because I still think it feels great. It has great potential. The new physics improvements on the braking feel good to me. In LMP2 and in the hypercar, as you can see, the content looks absolutely amazing. The tracks are nice. This new version of Le Mans looks cool. But when they prioritize everything to the detriment of making it stable and a nice, enjoyable experience, I'm not gonna have confidence that this sim has legs on it, especially for competitions like Le Mans Virtual or other championships and up-and-coming leagues and that sort of stuff. So I said this in my version 1.3 review as well. I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but what I think has happened is with 1.4, the direction has become a lot clearer, and that is, as I mentioned, they are going to try to get as much return on investment as possible as soon as possible from the new content, because I'm realistic. The bug fixes are not going to earn them money. But if you look at the total concurrent number of players, with the new US truck pass, I need to wait for this evening actually. Maybe it wasn't at launch, but it did not break the... oh, as we crash here. It did not break the all-time record, which... with kind of very popular pieces of content, such as Laguna and Daytona, I would have expected. I'm not sure, again, it's a bit too early to tell, but I'm not sure if that's gonna, keep some people away from LMU or not for the time being, and more people being skeptical to the new content like I am. But it's definitely a sign that probably this is gonna become a more and more important part to the community and not just myself. And to end the video, what was most infuriating at all is I want to show you a message from the Discord channel, because obviously I was complaining on the Discord channel. I feel like I'm complaining about LMU a lot recently, but I don't want to do it in a way just to be negative for nothing. I want this to be constructive feedback for the devs and make clear at least what I want to get out of this game now, in addition to the extra content. I think the response of some of the official LMU devs is absolutely infuriating, especially for somebody who is, streaming this game, making reviews, and actually supporting with my own money ever since day one. I never got invited to be completely transparent to any of the pre-launch events or anything like that. Didn't get training passes for free or something. So they are, in effect, mocking a customer that has paid for their service, which they were not getting because there were no practice servers, nothing was working. Okay, I think that's it for this rambling talk / review, my take on Le Mans Ultimate version 1.4. I'm concerned about the direction the sim is taking. Trying to raise revenue and make money out of it is perfectly legitimate, but not to the detriment of some much needed bug fixes and quality of life improvements. But let me know in the comments, what is your take? Do you think we should support Studio 397 no matter what? Always buy the DLCs and support that way? Should we be more critical or less critical in the community? What are you expecting to get from Le Mans Ultimate in the future? And yeah, as always, I'll see you next time on the channel. Don't forget to give it a like, subscribe if you enjoyed watching the video. And don't forget to use my code if you want to buy any Asetek racing gear. Okay, thanks for watching. You have a good one. Bye-bye.